The mosque is a weapons-free zone. To enter, you must submit to a deactivation procedure. I'll transmit the encrypted safety lock bytecodes to freeze all your weapons in or on your person.
Okay.
Thank you for your compliance with these regulations. You...
I need to return in time for the summit.
Just a show for the media.
I'm not so sure. Her Holiness sounded sincere when I spoke with her in Germany.
A co-dominion with the WTO? Not in my lifetime.
History moves in fits and starts. Obviously, you're too young to remember pre-collapse society. I watched 2 centuries of progress vanish during 2 minutes on the evening news.
Destruction, that's easy. But Her Holiness and Chairman Dumier think they can reunify the planet with a simple decree.
The faithless are easy to manipulate politically. And remember, the faithless are the majority. We should not forget de Tocqueville's insight. If a man does not submit to faith, he will desire a firm, tyrannical shape for society.
It's not too late to reform the church.
Perhaps. I will find out when I get to Trier.
I don't believe we've met.
Luminon Saman from the German Shard. My pleasure. I was hoping one of Billy's former classmates would show up.
Tell me about this epidemic.
The air's full of toxic nanite debris. Decades-old fallout from the collapse, they say. They keep dragging in more villagers. A pretty pitiful sight.
What are we supposed to do?
As far as I'm concerned, it's not our problem.
High Augur Chen said you were in charge of handling the epidemic.
She told me to send you into the Medina, the village, to talk to the Omar in their hideout. Supposedly, they say that the WTO has technology to clean up the nanites, but won't use it.
That's quite a claim.
Well, apparently they can get you inside an arcology facility where there's proof. Personally, I'm not going to waste my time saving the planet until we figure out where Dr. Nassif is hiding.
High Augur Chen is a fine seeker. She has a strong heart. But a strong heart often runs contrary to a seeker's purpose.
Do you think Dr. Nassif is still in Cairo?
We have good reason to believe that Apostle Corps' headquarters are in Cairo. This is where she would go looking for help.
You disagree with the way High Augur Chen is doing things?
Amicably, to be sure. It's mostly a doctrinal dispute that stands between us.
What about Her Holiness? Doesn't she decide what the Church stands for?
Her Holiness and I amicably disagree also. My Shard in Germany has a profound respect for the founding doctrines of the Order. What we don't understand are these recent revisions and reversals that seem to excuse the resurgence through the WTO of blind commercial interests.
You sound pretty upset.
My seekers and I are most loyal to the doctrines laid down by Her Holiness after the collapse. What we propose, very openly, is a greater purity of interpretation of these founding principles.
What brings the German Luminon to Cairo?
Let's just say that if this investigation of Apostle Corps does indeed uncover technologies for the modification and co-modification of human bodies, I don't entirely trust the current leadership to destroy them.
What are you going to do?
Report the truth to my seekers, to true seekers everywhere. What more would be necessary? You want to hear more? Good. Let me explain how the Order should rebuild post-collapse society.
I'm listening.
Her Holiness was correct in the beginning to describe the problem as one of human growth. Human growth was impeded in the old society. Almost all men carry out the purposes of other men rather than their own, making them feel impotent in action. Bertrand Russell.
So,
Russell understood that people are creatures of impulse. The role of political philosophy should be to control the destructive impulses with constructive, creative ones. For example, allow each citizen to direct his own growth.
I thought the Order was a spiritual movement.
A spiritual movement about reconstituting the self, improving the self, finding balance with the world. Her Holiness knows that no balance is possible if the old world returns. Global capital, teratogenic science, universal wage slavery. Have you ever considered what is unique about post-collapse society? Trans-territoriality. Most political entities coexist on a global scale. The WTO has its enclaves, we have our settlements and churches.
You're not the first global church.
The point is that governmental units need not be territorial. The proof is all around us. After the collapse, communication grids came back up before industry. So what has evolved are many global associations incapable of seizing very much territory.
If the Order isn't territorial, why do you maintain an armed guard?
Military power will never vanish. What we hope, and Her Holiness once agreed with me, is that a global police force would end territorial wars and be just that. Police, like the Seekers in the Medina.
But whose police force?
Not important, so long as it knows how to keep order. Seek the way, my friend. Enough for now. Please leave me to my thoughts. I know a little something about this plague. If you go outside, try to breathe through your nose. Enough for now. Please leave me to my thoughts. I know a little something about this.
Sometimes High Augur Chen has her head in the clouds. You might as well do what the Order wants. You might turn up a lead. Then Asif's run the greenhouse. Chen means well, but sometimes her methods aren't the most effective. The Order is on the right path. Good luck.
Maybe if they knew that I'm sick, they'd let me in.
I wish it could be that way, baby.
I guess I just wasn't smart enough.
Nonsense.
Why won't they at least let us in the city?
The air's not so bad inside the mosque. You'll start to feel better. Just get some rest and forget about Tarsus. It's a very selective program. What?
I don't mean to interrupt.
You startled me there. I guess I'm a little preoccupied.
What's wrong?
Well, it's my daughter, Mina. Look at her.
It's okay, Mom. I'll get better.
Ever since she didn't get into the Tarsus Academy, her infection has been getting worse. She should be up on level 107 right now, in her own dorm room, studying and breathing filtered air. She's always been such a good student.
I wish there was something I could do.
That's very kind. But unless you're on the admissions committee at the academy, or unless you're someone who can hack in and put Mina Amir on the acceptance list, there's not really much to do except wait and pray.
Really, Mom, I'll be fine.
Some of us still worship the old gods, despite everything that's happened.
She went into Tarsus, huh? I'll see what I can do.
You look fine to me.
Anything I can do to help?
Just stay out of the way. Too many patients. No time for chit-chat.
As you wish. I just stopped by to talk to a friend of mine, Billy Adams. She's working with the Order Church.
The woman from Seattle, yes. Where are you from? You Cairo? Why come here? The air in the Medina is polluted.
Is it that serious?
Just take a look outside. It's nanite dust these people breathe, from nanite swell 11. Particles like little insects, unaffected by the wind. Probably a leak from a pre-collapsed laboratory that's been forgotten for 2 decades. These poor people. Your interruptions are keeping me from my patients.